Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is Explanation of Battle Through the Heavens episode number 144 based on novel. So let's start. After the frightening fist landed, the earth demon puppet's body immediately cracked and formed numerous crack lines. Seeing this, a smile was revealed on the white-haired man's face when it stiffened. This was because he discovered that those crack lines had disappeared rapidly when the silver glow once again surged out from within the body of the puppet. I don't believe that I cannot break this puppet. A fierce glint flashed across the white-haired man's eyes. His tongue let out a sharp cry. Frightening wind swiftly gathered. A golden light suddenly rushed over just when this punch of his was about to be unleashed. A sharp ear-piercing sound of wind being split caused the former's expression to change a little. He hurriedly pulled back. The white-haired man swept his gaze around while he pulled back, only to discover that the golden light was a dark golden-colored puppet. The feeling that this puppet gave him appeared to be even more dangerous than the golden light puppet from earlier. This brat also possessed such a puppet. No wonder he would attack. The white-haired man suddenly came to an understanding when he saw the dark golden-colored sky demon puppet. The white-haired man hurriedly raised his head while this thought flashed across his heart, only to coincidentally see Xiao Yang slowly opening his eyes. The latter glanced at him coldly before beckoning with his hand. Those 10 puppets emitted a swoosh sound before being kept into the latter's storage ring. The process of subduing the earth demon puppets was far smoother than what Xiao Yang had expected. This was because he did not discover even a trace of spiritual imprint in the body of these earth demon puppets. This kind of situation also caused Xiao Yang to feel quite lost. Perhaps it was because the countless amount of time had eroded the spiritual imprint, or perhaps that Do Shun class ancient expert did not possess much interest in these puppets that he had randomly created and was even too lazy to place even a trace of spiritual imprint. Regardless of what the reason was, when Xiao Yang's spiritual strength invaded the bodies of these earth demon puppet, he had discovered that he had already established a relationship with them. This process was without even the slightest difficult. Even if some other random person was to give it a try, he would be immediately able to control them. Therefore, Xiao Yang's expression had become quite strange after having kept all these puppets into his storage ring. His eyes glanced towards the grey-clothed old man, who was being beaten to the point of vomiting blood earlier. He quietly thought in his heart about whether this old fellow would vomit blood from anger should he be aware that the method to pass through this place was so simple that it caused one to feel a disbelief. This little fellow, he has actually subdued those puppets. Everyone on the square was looking at Xiao Yang in a speechless manner while that strange thought rose within Xiao Yang's heart. It had only been 2 to 3 minutes, but the 10-peak Dozone class powerful puppet, which could even fight against a 2-star Dozun with their combined strength, had actually landed in Xiao Yang's hands. For a moment, the expressions of quite a number of people became exceptionally interesting. The envy and jealousy within their eyes could not be hidden. A puppet that had the strength equivalent to a 2-star Dozun. This was sufficient to stir the envy of anyone regardless of where one placed it. These people, especially those who had some grudge with Xiao Yang like Lei Zunjia, Binghe Zunjia and the rest, were envious and unwilling to resign to the situation. The stronger the strength around Xiao Yang meant that the threat towards them would be greater. Xiao Yang merely took a glance and withdrew his sight in the face of the gazes from these fellows. No matter how these fellows view him with dislike, they would not dare to attack him here. The motive of this trip of theirs was the Tian class Do skill within the remains. How would they dare to engage in a life-and-death battle with Xiao Yang's group before they obtain it? Creak. Soon after Xiao Yang kept those 10 puppets into his storage ring, the tightly shut stone door emitted a creaking mechanical sound. That heavy thick stone door was also slowly opened to reveal a hole. A desolate ancient aura slowly drifted out following the gradual opening of the stone door. This caused quite a number of people to adopt a solemn expression. An item from the ancient times was quite scared to quite a number of people. Upon seeing the opening stone door, Xiao Yang's figure moved and gently drifted backwards. After which, he once again returned to his position from earlier. The corner of the mouth of quite a number of people twitched upon seeing this action of his. They quietly cursed crafty brat in their hearts. It was obvious that Xiao Yang did not wish to be the first to enter this mysterious remains. The main door was slowly completely opened and the creaking sound also gradually halted. Everyone on the square looked at each other. However, no one took the lead to walk in. Xiao Yang ignored the silence on the square. He rubbed the storage ring with his finger. The smile on the corner of his mouth was quite brilliant. It was unexpected that he had obtained such a treasure after just having entered the remains. This was considered good luck. There were occasionally some experts who would hurry over from outside of the square. Clearly, they were experts who had discovered the secret of the fire path. Upon seeing an increasing number of experts gathering at this place, those experts and factions that were the first to arrive became a little impatient. A moment later, there was finally someone who could not endure it any longer and took the lead to slowly walk into the stone door. Fortunately, no miserable cry appeared this time around. Everyone suddenly sighed in relief upon seeing that nothing happened to the leading goat. Let's go. Xiao Yang smiled slightly. He let out a low cry as his foot stomped onto the ground. His body transformed into a black shadow that rushed into the remains behind the stone door with lightning-like speed. Little fairy doctor and the rest quickly followed behind him. This cunning fellow. Quite a number of people cursed in their hearts when they saw Xiao Yang moving immediately after seeing that there was no danger. They also quickly moved their bodies and raised their speed to the maximum. All of them flooded into the large hall like floodwater. Xiao Yang's group was quick to charge in. In the blink of an eye, they had already entered the stone door. After which, their speed was reduced. Their eyes were stunned as they watched the scene that appeared in front of them. The thing that appeared in front of them was an incomparably large hall. A person would feel exceptionally tiny when standing in this large hall. Everyone looked around them and discovered that there were quite a number of deep corridors around the large hall that extended to an unknown location. At this moment, there were already quite a few factions and experts who had charged in. They had begun to separate and rush towards those pathway. Ziyang, can you sense something? Xiao Yang knitted his eyebrows as he looked at these pathways with ends that could not be seen. He turned towards Ziyang by the side and asked. This place was still the entrance area of the large hall. Its interior would definitely be even more complicated. They would really have a tough time searching if they charged around randomly. I am able to sniff some scent of medicinal ingredients. However, it is very vague. Ziyang twitched her nose and said. Lead the way. Xiao Yang hurriedly said with some joy. Understood. Ziyang nodded. She identified their direction before rushing towards a path at the left of the large hall. Xiao Yang's group hurriedly followed. The pathway of the large hall was extremely wide. The couple of them appeared just like little birds flying within it. It was also possible to see some other experts coming to seek for treasures along the way. Fortunately, they did not head over and disturb Xiao Yang's group. There were occasionally some rooms located at the two sides of this path. At times, a large group of people would swarm over like bandits and began to thoroughly search the rooms. Although this action was very barbaric, there were indeed some lucky fellows who had found some chi method and do skills. However, their class were not very high. The best of all them had only reached the DI class. Even though this was the case, the one who obtained the treasure would still end up attracting quite a number of fiery hot gazes. While Xiao Yang's group was following the medicinal ingredient scent in their search, they would occasionally barge into a couple of rooms but they did not obtain anything useful. It was likely that the true treasures were not kept in these places. Seeing that these rooms would not provide much reward, Xiao Yang's group also completely withdrew their attentions from them. They focused on following behind Ziyang. After they had flew for around 15 minutes or so in the corridor, Ziyang at the front gradually came to a halt. The eyes of Xiao Yang's group were instantly thrown towards the front after seeing Ziyang coming to a halt. There was an extremely ancient stone door at that spot. A great amount of moss had climbed over the stone door, allowing one to sense just how long had passed. This place has the densest scent of medicinal ingredient. It is likely this is where the medicinal ingredients are stored. I wonder if they are spoilt after so many years. Ziyang pointed at the stone door and said, Unlikely. An elite Do Sheng has many ways to preserve medicinal ingredients forever. Xiao Yang shook his head. He slowly stepped forwards and carefully checked the place. Only after discovering that there was no trap did he use his strength to push the stone door open. Amidst a low and deep noise, the moss-covered thick heavy stone door was being slowly pushed open. Waves of rich medicinal fragrance that had been hidden for countless number of years immediately surged out. It caused the mind of everyone to be braced. A surprise also flashed across Xiao Yang's eyes when he sniffed this fragrance. He increased the strength on his hand and the stone door was completely pushed open. A glaring bright light shot out the instant the stone door was fully opened. This caused the eyes of Xiao Yang's group to be narrowed. They swiftly took 2 steps back and the do qi within their bodies also swiftly began to circulate. They were prepared to intervene in any sudden unexpected situations. The light gradually weakened and everyone's eyes were once again opened. Immediately, they gently inhaled a breath of cool air. Behind the stone door was not a stone room as everyone had expected. Instead, it was a forest, an ancient forest that was completely made up of various rare and precious medicinal ingredient. Damn it, compared to the medicinal ingredients here, the 10,000 medicinal mountain range of mine is really nothing. Xiongzhan looked at these many medicinal ingredients that were extremely rare in the outside world. His face was completely stunned. Xiao Yang was also violently stunned by this ancient forest, which was completely made up of rare and precious medicinal ingredients. It was a long time later before he gradually recovered. He swiftly pulled everyone in before shutting the stone door behind them. Although he knew that this was not very useful to those bandit-like fellows, this would at least cause some people to miss it. Such a frightening medicinal ingredient reserve definitely possessed an allure that could not be resisted to some factions. Wow, this is a good place. Ziyang's eyes appeared to have countless number of tiny stars in them at this moment. She wiped off her saliva and finally leaped without being able to control. After which, she reached into some Ganoderma with an extremely rich energy and grabbed it. She subsequently stuffed it into her mouth. The medicinal ingredients here had an exceptionally dense energy after having grown for countless of years. This was a great nourishment for Ziyang. Although its taste was a little inferior before having undergone Xiaoyang's refinement, the rich energy was able to allow Ziyang to bolt out the taste. Xiaoyang felt neither able to laugh nor cry when he saw this action of hers. His gaze swept around him and forcefully endured the impulse to place all the medicinal ingredients in this forest into his storage ring. With a wave of his hand, he walked towards the deep parts of the forest. Currently, there was not much time for him to take all of the medicinal ingredients here with him. Let's go and find the soul baby fruit first. Little fairy doctor's group nodded. After which, she pulled Ziyang, who was lying within the medicinal ingredient pile and refusing to move, up. Next, they followed Xiaoyang and walked into this ancient forest. The vast forest had an unusual fragrance lingering over it. A faint fog covered the forest and there would occasionally be some small beast rushing out from the grass. The peaceful atmosphere caused it to appear like paradise. This ancient forest had already formed its own world after countless number of years of evolution. It also possessed quite a number of powerful magical beasts. Everyone should be careful. A couple of figures rushed over the midair before landing on a large tree. Xiaoyang's eyes swept around him before softly issuing the reminder. He could sense that there were quite a number of powerful auras in this forest. They were clearly the magical beasts of this place. Yes, quite a number of magical beasts here are creatures belonging to the ancient times. Their fighting strength are quite strong. It would be a little troublesome if one get entangled with them. Tian Huazunja nodded and spoke in a deep voice. What did it matter if they are ancient creatures? Relax, everything will be fine if you follow me. Ziyang curled her small mouth. Her eyes swept around her before her toes pressed onto a tree branch. Her delicate small body rushed out and headed into the deep parts of the forest. Let's follow this girl. It will be safer following her in this place. Xiaoyang smiled towards everyone before taking the lead to follow Ziyang. This ancient forest was quite big. Even with the speed of Xiaoyang's group, they were still unable to see the edge of the forest despite having shuttled for over 10 minutes. From this, one could tell just how vast the remains left behind by this Dosheng from the ancient times was. Xiaoyang's group had felt quite a lot of powerful auras along the way. There were even a couple of times when there were some large-sized ferocious-looking magical beast passing in front of them. However, perhaps it was because Ziyang was an ancient void dragon. That vaguely present dragon might cause these magical beasts to avoid stepping forward and disturb their group. This had caused Xiaoyang's group to travel smoothly. A couple of human figures rushed past the forest before Xiaoyang paused his footsteps. He turned his head towards the north and frowned tightly. What is it? Little fairy doctor hurriedly asked upon seeing this. Other people have entered. Moreover, there's quite a large number of them. Xiaoyang said. Looks like they have also discovered the stone door. Little fairy doctor knitted her eyebrows and said. No, they are from another direction. It looks like there are more entrances into this ancient forest than just the one who took. Xiaoyang helplessly shook his head. He immediately continued, looks like we need to be faster. I've sensed it. Xiaoyang's words had just sounded when a joy suddenly surged on the little face of Ziyang at the front. Soul baby fruit? Xiaoyang's heart tightened as he hurriedly asked. Yes, that's no mistake. I am more familiar than you when it comes to the scent of these kind of natural treasure. Ziyang nodded. She did not hesitate as she pressed her toes on a tree branch and swiftly charged out. Xiaoyang's group hurriedly followed behind her. Xiaoyang also swiftly landed. His eyes followed Ziyang's gaze and swept over the place. After which, it stilled. A wild joy that was difficult to hide appeared on his face. The thing that appeared in front of Xiaoyang's group was 100 feet large lake. The lake water within was unusually clear. However, one could not see the bottom at a glance. The middle of the lake was a small floating plot of land. It was just like a small island at the middle of a lake. On that island was an extremely strange small tree. The small tree was grayish-silver in color. Its tree branches were entwined like vines. These tree branches would form a strange arc wherever it was extended. If looked at it while standing from afar, one would discover that the shape of these plants were very much like a pregnant woman with a bulging womb. There was a golden light overflowing from the interior of the belly that was formed by the many branches. It is indeed the soul baby demon tree. Xiaoyang sighed in relief when he saw this strange-shaped plant and spoke in a rejoiced manner. What are you waiting for now that you have found it? Go and get it. Xiongzhon parted his mouth and laughed. Wait, any natural spiritual objects will have some guardian magical beast. This soul baby fruit is a unique treasure that refines a soul. It possesses a great effect towards some magical beasts too. How is it possible for it not to have a guardian beast? Zi Yang, however, shook her head. After which, her eyes paused on the lake. Her small fist was clenched and she threw a punch. A frightening wind violently slammed onto the surface of the lake and creating an enormous hole. Bang! This punch had just been thrown when the calm lake's surface suddenly formed a monstrous wave. Immediately, Xiao Yang's group discovered that there was an enormous shadow swiftly surfacing from within the lake. Finally, a splash sounded and it broke out of the water. Its enormous eyes contained a fierce glint as it swept all over the place. It is actually the heaven-reaching semi-dragon. It has already become extinct in the outside world. Zi Yang was involuntarily surprised when she saw the enormous magical beast that broke out of the water. Xiao Yang's group also looked at this enormous being that had broke out from the water. This thing possessed a body of a snake. Its long body was covered with green scales. That body of it was extremely long, so much so that Xiao Yang's group could only see the portion above the surface of the water. There was also a dark black long horn on its head. The long horn had some mysterious symbols and there was a blue-colored light vaguely flickering over it. Heaven-reaching semi-dragon. This kind of magical beast from the ancient times was something that Xiao Yang had read about from some ancient text. During the ancient times, the fighting strength of such a magical beast was quite famous. It was rumored that the body of the heaven-reaching semi-dragon had some dragon tribe bloodline flowing within it. If it could wash and refine it as well as experience many lightning tribulations, it might perhaps be able to evolve into a true ancient void dragon existence. It is unexpected that we are still able to see the heaven-reaching semi-dragon here, Xiao Yang sighed. After which, he looked at Zi Yang. The latter nodded and said, "Leave it to me." The strength of this heaven-reaching semi-dragon was around that of the peak of rank 7. However, by relying on its bloodline and physical body, it could even fight against an elite Dozun. Although Xiao Yang's group could finish it off, it was naturally the best if they need not fight. Should this fellow's beast instincts be unleashed during the battle and end up destroying the soul baby fruit, they would really end up in a situation where there was nowhere for them to go crying to. Zi Yang leaped down from the tree branch and gently landed on the lake. Purple light spread out from her body and transformed into a 10 feet large purple light dragon. This purple dragon roared towards the sky when it appeared. Although the purple dragon was small in size, it was a genuine ancient void dragon. That was the pinnacle existence within the magical beast world. Additionally, the heaven-reaching semi-dragon possessed a similar bloodline to it. That kind of dragon might was obviously exceptionally intense. That heaven-reaching semi-dragon was startled for a moment after seeing the direction that Zi Yang pointed towards. Its eyes had a human-like unwillingness appearing in it. It had protected the soul baby fruit for so many years. Naturally, it was unwilling to just give it to others. However, the bloodline pressure that was emitted from Zi Yang's body caused it to be unable to resist. In an instant, it could only end up being dispirited and appeared quite pitiful. Can we give it some compensation? It is really very pitiful. Zi Yang's heart softened upon seeing this manner of the heaven-reaching semi-dragon. She turned her head and asked Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang's figure rushed down and landed beside Zi Yang. He cupped his hands towards the heaven-reaching semi-dragon and said, "I am really sorry. Originally, I do not wish to snatch something that you like, but the soul baby fruit is really too important to us. This kind of unique treasure might be of great use to one's soul, but the main aspect that a magical beast train is the physical body. The effect of having a strong soul is not very great. I have 2 types of medicinal pills that possessed some refining effect towards a magical beast physical body. It should possess quite a great effect towards you. Additionally, your body contains the ancient dragon bloodline. There is quite a great difficult transforming into a human form. There is also a matured body transformation grass." The eyes of the heaven-reaching semi-dragon immediately brightened when it heard the words body transformation grass. Only then did it suddenly nod its large head. Xiao Yang quietly sighed in relief within his heart upon seeing this. He hurriedly took out the medicinal pills and a jade box. The heaven-reaching semi-dragon sucked with its large mouth and swallowed all of them into its stomach. It was finally satisfied with this compensation. It moved its enormous body and entered the deep parts of the lake while bringing about some ripples. After gently dispatching with this large fellow, Xiao Yang waved his hand towards Zi Yang by the side. His body subsequently moved and he appeared on the island at the middle of the lake. Only when he stood beside the soul baby demon tree did Xiao Yang realize that 2 fist-sized golden fruits were hung within the pregnant woman's belly like tree branches. The fruits appeared just like a vivid human-like baby. A vaguely present fragrance spread from it, causing the soul between Xiao Yang's brows to involuntarily tremble a little. "Quickly take the thing away." The sound of magical beast roar within this forest is becoming dense. It seems that quite a number of people had barged in. Little fairy doctor's group also hurried to the island in the middle and urged. Xiao Yang nodded. He cut a thick soul baby demon tree branch before swiftly making a somewhat crude wooden box. This soul baby fruit was extremely mysterious. It cannot be kept using any other materials. Otherwise, it would gradually vaporize. The only thing that could contain it was the tree branch of the demon tree. Upon the successful creation of a wooden box, Xiao Yang carefully cut through the many branches. After which, he cut off the 2 tree branches that held the soul baby fruit and carefully placed them into the wooden box. He flipped his hand and kept it into his storage ring. We have finally obtained the soul baby fruit. Xiao Yang's heart appeared as though it had been relieved of a heavy stone the moment he kept the soul baby fruit into his storage ring. He had finally completed his mission. Yarrow Larrow would definitely be able to recover his peak strength this time around. Let's go. Xiao Yang was planning to leave quickly after having kept the soul baby fruit when he discovered that Zi Yang beside him was staring at an even deeper part of the forest in a startled manner. He became stunned as he asked, "What is it?" "There, something is summoning me." Zi Yang's eyes also became a little lost and blurry at this moment. That kind of feeling seemed to have originated from her bloodline. Xiao Yang's group were startled upon hearing these words of Zi Yang. They followed her eyes and looked towards the spot where she was staring at. However, all they could see was an endless forest. There was not the slightest unusual sign at that place. Xiao Yang revealed an expression of deep thought. It was impossible for Zi Yang to suddenly have such a feeling. The latter was an ancient void dragon. Forget about him, it was likely that even Yarrow Larrow did not really understand that kind of mysterious existence. As for that kind of mysterious summoning that Zi Yang had mentioned, it was perhaps only something that she alone could sense. What should we do? The sound of magical beast roar within this ancient forest is becoming increasingly close to each other. It seemed that quite a number of experts had been attracted to this place. Little fairy doctor looked at Xiao Yang and said. Xiao Yang frowned slightly. He glanced at Zi Yang, whose eyes had remained locked on the deep parts of the forest. A moment later, he finally nodded violently and spoke in a deep voice, "Let's go and take a look. Since we have entered a treasure mountain, we must naturally witness a true treasure. Those other treasure seekers do not have the deterrence of a dragon's might. It is not easy for them to successfully walk in. We still have a sufficient amount of time." A smile surfaced on the small face of Zi Yang, who had been staring continuously, after seeing Xiao Yang nod his head. Her toes pressed on the ground and her body took the lead to rush into the deep parts of the forest. Xiao Yang's group hurriedly followed upon seeing this. The magical beast aura in the forest behind the lake was undoubtedly even fiercer than those outside. There were even a couple of auras that caused Xiao Yang's group to reveal a solemn expression. It was fortunate that there was Zi Yang's dragon's might as a deterrence. Although those auras had also sensed Xiao Yang's group, it was obvious that they gradually withdrew after hesitating. In their memories, those owners of this kind of dragon might were all extremely troublesome existence. It was best to avoid provoking them if they could. Of course, these beasts that had remained within this ancient forest for an unknown amount of time, failed to sense that the owner of this dragon might was merely a child ancient void dragon. Nevertheless, Xiao Yang's group was lucky to have not met with much obstruction within this deep regions of the forest where danger lurks all around. Hence, after shuttling through it for nearly 10 minutes, the speed of their group had slowly reduced. The surrounding aura has completely disappeared. Little fairy doctor suddenly sensed something when they stepped into a certain region and she softly commented. Xiao Yang's expression changed slightly upon hearing this. After briefly sensing the place, he indeed discovered that those monstrous aura that he had felt earlier had actually completely disappeared. What happened? Tian Huazunja also frowned tightly. A cautious expression also surfaced on his face. If one was careless in this place, it was likely that one could only forever remain in this place as the fertilizer for the medicine. There is no need to be worried. This place is already the center of the ancient forest. Zi Yang softly said. Her eyes were focused intently on a spot a short distance ahead. That place was a flat land. There was nothing strange on those lush green grass. This caused Xiao Yang's group to wonder a little. Was this the place that had summoned Zi Yang? Zi Yang drifted down from a tree branch and she slowly took over a dozen steps on the ground. After which, her small face was serious as she extended her little hand. Just when her small hand came into contact with the empty space half a foot from the ground, a golden light suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Xiao Yang's group looked at the golden light that had suddenly appeared. Some surprise flashed across their eyes. This golden light turned into an inverted bowl shape. The bottom and top were round. Its size was 100 over feet in diameter. Although the golden light was dazzling, it was covered by the many densely stacked trees. Unless one was close by, otherwise, it was impossible to discover it. What is this? Xiao Yang's group also flashed and appeared beside Zi Yang. They looked at the golden light barrier in front and a solemn expression covered their eyes. They could sense a kind of pressure from this mysterious golden light barrier. This kind of pressure allowed them to understand that even if all of them were to join hands, it was likely that they would not be able to break this strange golden light barrier. This is a beast spiritual barrier. Only a magical beast with extremely great strength when it was alive could form such a beast spirit barrier and can only do so when it was about to die. Zi Yang's small hand gently rubbed the light barrier. A kind of faint grief was present on her face. Xiao Yang was silent. Since this thing was summoning Zi Yang, it meant that the owner of this beast spiritual barrier was very likely from the ancient void dragon tribe. Something's wrong. Zi Yang touched the light barrier. Her small face changed suddenly as she said, this beast spiritual barrier not only have the scent of an ancient void dragon but there seemed to be a little heaven demon phoenix scent. However, This kind of scent is far purer than the current Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. Xiao Yang's group looked at each other upon hearing this. Could it be that someone from the ancient Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe had also died in this place? Won't you know if you open and take a look? Xiong Zhon by the side rubbed his head and said. Zi Yang nodded slightly. Since she had come here, she must go in and take a look. Immediately, she bit her delicate finger. A drop of golden yellow blood appeared. She placed her finger gently onto the beast spiritual barrier before drawing a golden yellow blood mark. Only those with similar bloodline are able to open this kind of beast spiritual barrier. Following the drawing of the golden yellow blood mark, the spot where the mark was swiftly fluctuated. Immediately, the golden light barrier rippled and a golden light crack line was slowly being torn and formed. Let's go. Zi Yang waved her hand upon seeing this. She took a step in. After hesitating for a moment, Xiao Yang's group behind her also closely followed. After the last person entered the beast spiritual barrier, that golden light fluctuated once again and the crack line swiftly disappeared. Xiao Yang's group felt dazzled the moment they stepped into the beast spiritual barrier. The lush green forest disappeared almost instantly. A desolated plain replaced it. The size of this plain was quite large. It was covered with bright red sand that looked as though it had been dyed with fresh blood. There would occasionally be some pale white stone dust color amidst the bright redness. When they looked afar, everyone found that there was 1,000 feet large ancient stone altar located at the middle of the plains. A vaguely present pressure permeated from the altar, causing the do qi within the body of Xiao Yang's group to become sluggish. What a frightening pressure. Xiao Yang's group exchanged looks with each other. They could see a shock from the other party's eyes. Just the pressure alone could cause them to be in such a condition. Just how frightening was the owner of the pressure? Zi Yang's eyes were directly locked onto that enormous stone altar the moment she entered this place. She mused for a moment before her toes pressed gently onto the ground. After which, she flew towards the altar. From her manner, it seemed that she was not affected by this kind of pressure. Xiao Yang's group hurriedly followed when they saw this action of Zi Yang. A moment later, they finally landed above the huge stone altar. An ancient feeling pounced towards them upon close contact with this enormous stone altar. This caused Xiao Yang's group to rearrange their emotions. Xiao Yang's group stood at the middle of the altar. Looking up from this spot, they could see a flight of green stone stairs that extended to the end. Zi Yang's eyes were startled as she looked at the end of the stone stairs. That summoning feeling seemed to be increasingly strong. Zi Yang gently exhaled a breath of air. Her small face had also become unusually grave. Her foot stomped on the ground and she transformed into a light figure that rushed up the stone stairs in a lightning-like manner before appearing at the end of the altar. Xiao Yang's group followed closely behind. When they arrived at the front of the altar, they ended up seeing Zi Yang's incredible stunned face. His eyes looked over, only to see that there was a golden-purple stone platform at the middle of the altar. A half-a-foot large groove was present above the stone stairs. At this moment, a small tree seedling was beginning to grow from within the stone platform. The tree seedling was only as thick as a thumb, but it meandered around like an enormous dragon. The top of this little tree seedling hung a fruit. This fruit was the size of a palm. It was both golden and purple in color. If one was to carefully observe it, one could discover that the golden half was twisting and turning, appearing just like a shrunk version of an ancient void dragon. The other purple half was dancing with spread wings, a phoenix. That's right. It was indeed a heaven demon phoenix. Although this was a little different from the drawing that Xiao Yang had seen, but the overall shape could still be recognized by Xiao Yang. A fruit that is formed by an ancient void dragon and a heaven demon phoenix. Xiao Yang's group glanced at each other after looking at this extremely mysterious fruit. All of them were at a loss. Even with Xiao Yang's ability to recognize medicine, he had never heard that there was actually such a unique treasure in this world. It seems that the pressure is being emitted from within the fruit. Little fairy doctor commented softly. Her voice also contained a disbelief. Xiao Yang's heart also shook when he heard this. Only then did he discover that the pressure that permeated this place was indeed emitted from within this dragon phoenix fruit, which had an extremely strange outer appearance. This is the dragon phoenix origin fruit. It only exists inside some of the ancient books of the ancient dragon tribe. That phoenix is also not a heaven demon phoenix. Instead, it is their ancestor, the ancient heaven phoenix. This kind of fruit requires the absorption of the life force from an ancient void dragon and an ancient heaven phoenix in order to gain a 10% chance of being born. Even in the records of the ancient void dragon, this dragon phoenix origin fruit had only appeared for a mere 5 times. This is the 6th time. Zi Yang's eyes were startled as she looked at the dragon phoenix origin fruit that truly only existed in legends. A moment later, she suddenly turned her head. She stood at the top of the altar and looked down at the vast plains from above. Only then did she discover that the pale white color amidst the bright red mud vaguely outline an extremely huge dragon and heaven phoenix skeleton. An ancient void dragon and an ancient heaven phoenix had actually died together at this very spot. The large skeletons were connected with the head of one touching the tail of the other, coincidentally forming a circular loop that encircled this plains. This enormous stone altar was coincidentally at the middle of this circle. While Zi Yang's eyes were observing the bones below with shock, Xiao Yang's group had also noticed this point. Immediately, they inhaled a deep breath of cold air. Their voice began to be emitted one after another. Ancient Void Dragon. Ancient Heaven Phoenix. These ultimate magical beasts that basically only existed in the legends had actually appeared in this kind of place. Although they were only a set of bones, it was already sufficient to cause one's heart to be shaken. No wonder the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit is born. An ancient void dragon and an ancient heavenly phoenix had actually died here, Xiao Yang muttered. The ancient void dragon and the ancient heavenly phoenix are all the ultimate existences within the magical beast world. However, the two are completely incomparable. They would fight wherever they meet. I think that the both of them had ended up dying in this place from injuries after experiencing a big battle. Ziyang opened her mouth and said. However, the life force of the ancient heavenly phoenix is clearly inferior to that of the ancient void dragon. Otherwise, the heaven phoenix aura should be the dominant one in this beast spiritual barrier. Xiao Yang nodded slightly. He looked towards Ziyang and asked, "What do you plan to do now?" This so-called dragon phoenix origin fruit was obviously an extremely important thing. It was something that Xiao Yang had never even heard of despite his experience. Hence, he was also unaware of what should be done now. I must definitely bring this dragon phoenix origin fruit away. Otherwise, should the heaven demon phoenix obtain it, they will be able to evolve into a true ultimate beast that possessed both the bloodline of a dragon and a phoenix. At that time, the ancient void dragon tribe would be threatened. Ziyang's small face was grave as she spoke. Xiao Yang's expression also became serious when he heard this. He was obviously on bad terms with the heaven demon phoenix tribe. The stronger the latter's strength was, the more disadvantageous it would be to him. Take it quickly. Ziyang nodded. She swiftly turned around and was about to act when the expression on her face changed. She sensed an intense ripple suddenly being formed in this space. Soon after, numerous auras entered it at the same time. This unexpected change was naturally also sensed by Xiao Yang's group. Immediately, their eyes followed the source of the fluctuation and glanced over. Their hearts sunk. A crack line was being torn open on the beast spiritual barrier. Immediately, a group of people charged in fiercely. If one was to carefully look at them, they were surprisingly the members of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. Feng Qing and the rest, who had barged into this place, swept their somewhat lost eyes all around them. After which, their eyes were paused on the altar at the middle of the plains. Due to them currently being high up in the air, they were able to immediately see the dazzling strange fruit on the altar. Their expressions immediately became dull. Dragon Phoenix origin fruit? The dullness lasted for an instant before a scream that was filled with extremely shock suddenly resounded over the place. The expression of the white-haired man beside Feng Qing suddenly changed upon hearing this scream. His eyes were startled as he looked at the top of the altar. An extremely wild and violent heated expression surged into his eyes. After hearing Feng Qing's scream, Ziyang's small face became cold as she withdrew her hand. Attempting to remove the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit required a complicated procedure. If they did not send away these unwanted guests, it was likely that she would be unable to calmly remove the fruit. Xiao Yang also exhaled gently. His eyes looked at the group that had barged in and softly said, "Prepare to fight." Xiao Yang's heart was clearly aware that since Feng Qing's group had also recognized the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit, they would definitely not easily give it up. A bloody battle was unavoidable. Everyone also slowly nodded when they heard this. Xiongzhan rubbed his large fist, parted his mouth and laughed ferociously. "It's just as well. Perhaps it is because of the bloodline in my body, but the old me also see these bird fellows as extremely unpleasant. Xiao Yang, immediately bring your people and leave the altar. Else, all of you shall be buried here today." Feng Qing's eyes were cold and sharp as she cried out in a deep voice. Xiao Yang glanced at her before completely ignoring her. His eyes swept over the other party's group and involuntarily frowned slightly. This group of theirs not only had Lei Zunja from the Wind Lightning Pavilion, but there was also the tribe leaders of the Great Earth Tiger tribe and the Silver Moon Wolf tribe whom Xiao Yang had met on the mountaintop back then. These two people were also genuine two-star Dozun. Moreover, other than these two people, there was also that white-haired man and a black-robed elder. Xiao Yang had already met the former and had only just discovered the latter. However, the strength of this elder was clearly quite strong. That hidden aura was likely not weaker than anyone else. In this way, just this group of theirs would have 5 Dozun class experts. This lineup could be considered frightening. 5 Dozuns. Xiao Yang rubbed his finger gently. He counted a little before sighing in relief. This lineup was indeed quite strong, but if his side added the Sky Demon puppet and the 10 puppets he had just obtained, they would be able to block 6 Dozuns. Although the other party still possessed quite a number of experts at the peak of the Dozun class, they were not considered heavyweights. "Little girl, your tone is really arrogant. If you wish to snatch something, you should first get past this old me." Xiongzhan laughed ferociously. He let out a roar towards the sky and his body swelled rapidly. In an instant, he had become a 10-meter tall large man. A fierce awe spread immediately, caused some of the experts below the Dozun class to have a slight change in expression. "So it's an ancient dragon bear. You actually dare to act arrogantly by relying on just a little dragon bloodline. You really overestimate yourself." The white-haired man glanced faintly at the large Xiongzhan and laughed coldly. "What about this?" The cold voice had just sounded when Little Fairy Doctor and Tianhua Zunja stepped forward in unison. They appeared in the midair away from the altar. The vast and mighty aura of being at the peak of the 3-star Dozun class swept out without restraint, causing this entire space to fluctuate slightly. Humph, do you really think that our side doesn't have any Dozuns? Seeing this, Lei Zunja let out a cold laughter. He stepped forward together with the tribe leaders of the Great Earth Tiger and the Silver Moon Wolf tribes. Majestic aura spread out in an uncompromising manner. In an instant, the atmosphere of this entire place became extremely tense. Xiao Yang was expressionless. He glanced at the ferocious aura of Lei Zunja's group. After which, he flickered his finger and the dark golden sky demon puppet appeared. He subsequently waved his hand again. 10 Earth Demon puppet appeared in midair. Gold and silver light crossed each other, causing one's eyes to feel a little piercing pain. The 11 puppets had just appeared when the faces of Lei Zunja's group involuntarily twitched slightly. The might of the 10 puppets was something that they had personally witnessed before entering the remains. The combination of those 10 puppets could fight against a 2-star Dozun. Today, I shall see just who can snatch the thing from this altar. Xiao Yang's figure slowly rose into the air. Purple-brown flame surged out from his body in all directions. Immediately, it gathered in the air above him and formed a large fire dragon. The roar of the fire dragon shook the entire place. Feng Qing'er's expression changed slightly when she sensed Xiao Yang's unusually powerful aura. She gritted her teeth. There was an unwillingness to accept this in her eyes. When she had met Xiao Yang back then, the latter was completely unable to be compared with her. However, after only having not met him for a short couple of years, the latter had already tossed her far behind him. Wave after wave of vast and mighty aura spread over the sky. The aura of nearly 10 elite Dozuns erupted at that same time. This spectacular scene caused some of the Wind Lightning Pavilion's experts to be stunned. They had never seen this kind of scene. The white-haired man's icy cold eyes stared at Xiao Yang in the midair. Looking in terms of aura alone, their side was clearly somewhat at a disadvantage. Xiao Yang's group might not be large in numbers, but all of their auras were quite powerful. It was extremely difficult to deal with them. Elder Huang Xian, it looks like we can only invite you to intervene this time around. The white-haired man inhaled a deep breath of air. His eyes suddenly turned towards the black-robed old man, who had ultimately never uttered a single word, and spoke respectfully. The black-robe elder nodded gently. His eyes looked towards the distant top of the altar. Those deep eyes of his contained a fiery heat leaping within. He muttered, "Dragon Phoenix origin fruit. Cuckoo, it seems that the heavens really wish to bless our tribe. We have actually met such a legendary mysterious item in such a place." The black-robed old man slowly took a couple of steps forward after his laughter sounded. After he stepped forward, the obscure majestic aura suddenly soared. By the time he took his 4th step, that aura of his had actually broke through to the 5-star Dozun level. "Younger generation, the old me can still allow all of you to leave alive if you go away now." The faint voice of the black-robe old man was just like the furious thunder of the heavens. It shook this entire space until it trembled. 5-star Dozun. Xiao Yang's group had a somewhat ugly expression as they stared at this black-robed elder. Their hearts sunk slightly. Unexpectedly, this seeming inconspicuous old man would actually be the strongest amongst those from the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe's group. No wonder that Feng Qing'er had such confidence. This old fellow has hid very deeply. What should we do now? Tian Huazunja frowned slightly. His eyes looked towards Xiao Yang. The gap between every star within the Dozun class was extremely great. This Huang Xian had turned the situation around by just revealing himself. What else can we do? Even if we have to destroy this kind of mysterious item, we must not leave it for them. Xiao Yang laughed coldly and said, "Moreover, just a 5-star Dozun does not have the qualification to force me back." Xiao Yang's final sentence was not hidden in any way. It was directly spread by being accompanied by the wild wind. "Stubborn fellow. In that case, just remain here." The black-robed old man shook his head. That dead tree-like face of his gradually turned densely cold. With his 5-star Dozun strength, it was sufficient for him to overlook everyone present. Although he did not wish to fight, the other party could not blame him for being vicious given that they refused to take his kind offer. "Attack, do not leave any one of them alive." The dense voice of the black-robed old man had caused this entire place to be filled with a monstrous murderous aura. This video will end here.